Welcome everyone to the 1 week short term course on continuous professional development. In this session, we will discuss on the skills required by the teachers during their classroom interaction. So let us start the presentation. Continuous professional development gives teachers the change to reinforce existing skills as well as learning new ones that aren't covered during teacher training. It also allows teachers to build on their interaction and learn strategies for helping the students to achieve their full potential. So, here are a few skills that enable teachers to perform much more efficiently and effectively. They are communication, patience, organization, innovation, confidence, thinking, dedication, and conflict resolution. All these skills help students to cope up with the increasing pace and change of present day life. So, today we will discuss in detail about thinking skills. Thinking skills comes under the cognitive domain and involves everything that happens within your brain. The teaching of thinking skills is an explicit part of the education system. A thinking skill approach not only specifies what is to be taught, but also how it is taught. And therefore, thinking skills are the mental processes that we apply when we seek to make sense of experience. A thinking skill is a practical ability to think in ways that are judged to be more or less effective or skilled. According to Robert Fisher, thinking skills is a term that refers to the human capacity to think in conscious ways to achieve certain purposes. Such processes include remembering, questioning, forming concepts, planning, reasoning, imagining, solving problems, making decisions and judgments, translating thoughts into words, and so on. Thinking skills are the habits of intelligent behavior learned through practice. So, in other words, in the simple form of thinking skills are collecting information, sorting information, analyzing information, drawing conclusions from the information, brainstorming new ideas, creative thinking, problem solving, determining cause and effect, evaluating options, critical thinking, planning and setting goals, monitoring progress, decision making, and reflecting on one's own progress. So, all these are known as thinking skills. Now, let us just see what does Bloom's taxonomy says about thinking skills or cognitive skills. The cognitive goals of education, that is Bloom's taxonomy of thinking skills, has been widely used by teachers in planning their teaching. He identifies a number of basic or lower order cognitive skills, that is knowledge, comprehension, and application, and a number of higher order skills, analysis, synthesis, and evaluation. So just let us see what does it mean. So in Bloom's taxonomy, there are 6 levels. So we'll see what does each level means. The first level is knowledge, that is to remember, to recall. The second level is comprehension, which means to understand. So once the teacher starts the topic, we first remember the old knowledge or information and we connect the old information with the new one. Then we understand the concept, what the teacher is teaching. The third level is application. In this level, we apply the knowledge using problem solving methods or any other methods through which we can apply it in the real life. The fourth level is analysis. Here, we use to identify and analyze the patterns. We organize the ideas into logical manner. The fifth level is synthesis. In synthesis, we use the old concepts and based on those old concepts, we create new ideas. So the last step, that is the sixth step in the Bloom's taxonomy, is evaluation. Here we need to access or judge our theories, our plan of action, whether it is conducted correctly or whether we need to evaluate it and rate it and need to redesign it. So, all these levels just explain what the Bloom's taxonomy says. There are various types of thinking skills, but the most common types are critical thinking and creative thinking. So let us see in detail what is critical thinking and creative thinking. Critical thinking. Here, the critical thinkers are able to ask questions based their judgments on evidence, look for connections between subjects, analyze and understand concepts, information and behavior, break down things and separate facts from opinion. So, critical thinking is the ability to think clearly and rationally, understanding the logical connection between ideas. Critical thinking is the analysis of facts to form a judgment. So, in this process, critical thinking means one has to think logically, one has to do practical experience, one has to solve the problem and solve it step by step so that you reach to the solution. What is creative thinking? In creative thinking, the thinkers don't go into finding the right answers, as there can be many right answers in the creative process. They don't always be logical and practical, but they get better with practice. And so, creative thinking is the ability to look at things differently and find new ways of solving problems. Creative thinking is a skill which lets you consider things from a fresh perspective and different angles. It's an inventive thought process which results in surprising conclusions and new ways of doing things. So, here, the creative thinker has no limit to his imagination. He can just do as per his creativity. There is no single answer which you can say it is a correct answer because there can be many correct answers in this process. So here are few types of thinking which comes under the main two heads, that is critical thinking and creative thinking. So let us see, like under the critical thinking it is a convergent thinking, creative it comes as divergent thinking, then rational, here it comes to emotional. Here in critical thinking it is an inward type of thinking, in creative it is outward type of thinking. Analytic, generative. Probabilities, here it's possibilities. Sequence and imagination. Logical, intuitive. Focused, diffuse. Objective, subjective. Single answer, answers. Left brain, right brain. So, do you think that there is a need for teachers to develop thinking skills? Let us see the need and importance for developing thinking skills. Present education system require its teachers to assimilate information from multiple sources, determines its truth and use it to make sound judgment. So, we need to develop educational programs which will enable students to become effective thinkers. So, the importance and need for developing thinking skills are mainly to enable us to learn from our experience and to utilize our intellect. The complexity of modern jobs requires people who can comprehend, judge, and participate in generating new knowledge and process. Improving the quality of thinking skill is directly linked to better learning and thereby maximizing the potential towards betterment of society. It also helps to make good decisions. It helps to understand the consequences of our actions and solve problems. It helps us to define and organize experiences, plan, learn, reflect, and create. Thinking skills helps us to improve our language and express ourselves in a better way. So let us see some strategies to enhance thinking skills. Some strategies which will enhance thinking skills among students are open ended questions. So, here you need to break the cycle of rote learning, and the first step to it is to ask them open ended questions, which will force the students to think. Project based learning. Solving real problems will get students out of the classroom and into the real world. Your development of critical thinking and higher order thinking skills comes to the forefront. Encourage creativity. Allow students to think out of the box. Make them independent and encourage them to come with new ideas and solutions. Encourage collaboration. Make students work as team and collaborate with each other. Through this, they will be able to share and develop knowledge. Mind connections. While your students learn to organize their thoughts during a brainstorm session, encourage them to discover the relationships between their ideas. They need to define ideas, compare viewpoints, find similarities, gauge differences, and understand why the best answer is correct. Productive debates. Involving students in a healthy debate will give them a chance to test their thinking skills. They will learn to argue with their own logic and find weaknesses in those of others among other things. Freedom to learn. If you give your students the answer to the questions every time, then you make them dependent on you for all answers. So let them think for themselves and so that they can learn freely. So now let us see how you can incorporate thinking skills into your students' mind by some activities which can be undertaken in the classroom. So, in order to help students develop thinking skills and come out with uncommon thoughts, it is important for teachers to carry out some activities in the classroom. So, the first one here I have suggested is word unscrambler. So, what is word unscrambler? It is a puzzle game and a powerful tool which gives students mind the challenge to think even more creatively. So normally we all have played this puzzle because It's a very simple game which a teacher can just conduct in a classroom environment where she can just give a word to the students which is in a scramble form and ask them to again set it into a correct position. The next one is think, pair, share. So, in this think, pair, share, the students can think individually and also can work in collaboration with their partners and with the whole class. It is a collaborative learning strategy where students work together to solve a problem or answer a question about an assigned reading. Think, pair, share also allows students to think individually about a topic, then discuss ideas and thoughts with the partner, and then share their thoughts with the entire class. So, even this activity can be easily conducted in the classroom environment where teacher can give students the option or the environment to develop the thinking skills. The third one is thinking maps. Now, thinking maps are becoming popular because they allow students to visually organize their information. They are used for students to become independent thinkers. So, in this thinking maps, teacher can give a concept or a topic to the students and then allow them to just draw it or just put it into on paper, like as a map or as a chart, just like an example of concept map or mind map, and put their thoughts on paper and can share it with the entire class. Mind squeeze. Now, this is also a very common activity which we all know, and it can be easily undertaken in the classroom environment. In this activity, students are given objects and words on a page and allow them to look for 2 minutes. Then they are asked to turn the page around and try to recall the objects as much as they can. So, even in this process, in this activity, the students can develop their thinking skills. They can recall, they can remember what they have seen, and they can just put it on paper after turning it back. And the last activity is debate. Debate means to engage in argument or discussion. It is a process that involves formal discussion on a particular topic. Here, opposing arguments are put forward to argue for opposing viewpoints. When one side's arguments are more convincing than the other, that is when the debate comes to a close. So, even this activity enhances the thinking skills of students and allows them to think in a critical or in a logical manner. So, all these activities can be easily conducted during the classroom interaction. So, for this session, I have just thought about an activity for teachers which you can try at your pace and at your own time. Just try to solve this. Connect all 9 dots by drawing only 4 straight lines with your pen or pencil, never leaving the paper. So these are the 9 dots. It's a just small activity given uh, to see how you can think and draw 4 straight lines without leaving your paper. So just think over it and try to complete this activity. Uh, I'll give just 2 minutes or 5 minutes to think on this, and then I'll show you the solution of this activity. So just try if those who are watching it now. can just take a paper and a pen or a pencil, draw these 9 dots, and try to uh, draw 4 straight lines uh, in which you have to connect all the 9 dots and in one go. You cannot just overwrite on any single dot. So we'll see the solution of this activity. The solution to this is after joining all the 9 dots, the figure looks like this. So here you can see from this point, the first line is drawn, then it is taken over to the second line like this. Then the third straight line is drawn in this manner, and again the fourth straight line is drawn backwards by connecting all the 9 dots. So, isn't it exciting? And just try to brush up your thinking skills. A small activity just to think over it, how to connect the dots and do it in a simple and easy way. So, thank you, all of you, for attending this session. And these are few references which you can refer for the topic. Thank you so much.